Give me the 50.
A little bit of a delay, so I'm waiting.
Yeah, because mine says waiting for KastKing. There it goes.
All right, there it goes. We are on. We are live. What's up, everybody? So we'll wait until a few more to join. We're giving it a little bit of time. We'll wait until about 10 joins in.
Had to tell the wife when she gets off work not to come through the door hollering and screaming.
Your wife don't do that, AJ.
No, she doesn't. I give her reasons to, though.
I bet you do.
So how's everybody doing tonight? How are we?
We have 9 watching. We build up pretty quick. Very good. Hola.
Are we not able to respond in the chat because it won't let me do anything?
I don't know. I think we can respond. What's up?
Oh, that's
Josh is in here.
Hold on, let me switch accounts.
All right, I'm gonna get it started. All right, guys, welcome. Thanks for joining. What's up, Jim? You're gonna love the bait feeder. Okay, as you know, summer is coming up. It's coming up super fast. Before you know it, it's gonna be here. So I figured I'd bring on tonight AJ Gore. You guys seen him before in the past, and of course, John Shabursky. You guys have definitely seen him before in the past. So I brought him back on here. What they have in common is AJ Gore went to Lake Havasu not too long ago, and he did a fish camp for kids, for children, and John Shabursky does fish camps. I think John does them for kids and grown-ups, from beginners to pros. He does them and helps people out.
I'm back, sorry.
And so we are here, and we're going to talk about, it's summertime. Take a kid out. This is the best time to teach a kid how to fish. You have all summer long. The kids are getting out of school, so I mean, when you get home, they're there. It's time to take the kids out, time to take them fishing. AJ knows what I'm talking about. He's got some kids, so he can really relate to that. But
Definitely.
we are. And I think first what we're going to do is we're going to let AJ talk a little bit about his experience at Lake Havasu, and he can tell us who he went with, who took him to Lake Havasu, and KastKing sent him over there. And it was a great turnout, but we'll let him take it over. Take it over, AJ. Tell us how Lake Havasu was.
Lake Havasu was windy. You know, I packed a ton of fishing gear, took the boat up there, and I really never would have thought about taking a kite, but it would have been perfect if I would have taken a kite. But oh well, didn't take a kite, so we decided to go ahead and fish anyways. Now I went over there on behalf of KastKing for a foundation, or an organization, I guess you could say, called Pond Hopper Nation, and it started off in January, believe it or not, and has grown really quickly. It's a organization basically that's stretching across the country, growing very rapidly, and the goal is to get into communities and get them involved and get people more active in fishing, and of course teaching your children about fishing. You know, we're getting into a day and age to where people aren't going outside anymore. They're living their lives in front of YouTube and in front of Facebook and all the social media, and we're forgetting about all the other great things out there, and fishing is one of them. You know, and so, you know, Pond Hopper Nation definitely wants to keep people more active and get our youth back into fishing, and they're doing it through social media, but then getting your hands on fishing reels. So the gentleman that's behind, his name is Albert. He's a great guy. He's reached out and contacted a lot of people. He's creating what he calls state representatives, and I'm pretty sure, from what I get of the gist and being a part of the Pond Hopper Nation event, is with a couple great sponsors like KastKing and his hard efforts and all his different state representatives, is to grow this organization into every state, get into as many cities and communities as possible, and over time just create these events where everybody gets together and gets kids on fishing. And so when the Havasu event, we had over 150 kids signed up and actually participated. We gave out tons of tackle boxes, rods, reels, fishing line. It was a really great event, T-shirts. And then, of course, we went over to Lake Havasu and started teaching the kids how to fish. It was a great event. It was a very successful event. I can only imagine how much better it would have been had we not had to have dealt with the elements of the wind. It was a really, really, really windy lake. Lake Havasu can be known to be very windy. We were going to try to have the boats go out. I took my boat, the KastKing boat, up there and was going to take some kids out and hopefully get them on some fish and run them around, let them see what it's like to ride around on a bass boat. But it was so windy we had to go ahead and just, take the boats out of the liability purposes and things of that nature. But, man, we got some kids out there. They had a blast. They started to learn the fundamentals like casting. It's amazing. We, as adults and fishermen, just think that, you pick it up, you push the button on these little Barbie poles and some of the other spinning reels and just throw them. But some of these kids have no knowledge whatsoever, let alone some of their parents don't have any knowledge either on anything about fishing. So it's not only an educational event for the kids, but you can actually start to teach the parents some of the stuff and get them active into fishing. And, of course, that brings them together and unites them as a family. Fishing did it all. And KastKing was incredibly happy to be there, helping out Pond Hopper Nation and being a part of that. It's actually exceptional. It was really cool.
That's awesome, AJ. I wish I could have been there. I think he might be coming over to Destin soon. I'll talk to Albert. He's a really cool guy. But that's the key, guys. Yeah. Take kids out fishing. They're our future. They're future of fishing, and it's only getting bigger. Fishing is become so big these past couple of years. It's incredible. I've grown up. I always thought I was like the only one that fished, pretty much. But nowadays, it's everybody. It's a sport now. And talking about fishing out there and kids, beginners, I think the perfect combo, KastKing has set it up for you guys to make it super easy on Amazon.com. They have a combo, and it comes with the Melee spinning reel and the Black Hawk combo. And the Black Hawk, if you guys don't know, that's a telescoping rod, so it can get really compact. They have tons of different sizes. AJ and Jay's got it right here. But they have tons of different sizes. And it's incredible. Like, you can pull it out. I think I have one in my garage. It's like 10 foot, over 10 foot. So you can get from 5'10" all the way to 10 foot. It's incredible. These things are super strong, very durable, and perfect for kids. And the spinning reel, that Black Hawk, is probably perfect too. You can beat that thing up. Those are amazing. And they look good together.
What's perfect about this is just, KastKing just shared on their Facebook page the other day and Instagram, and it actually made me laugh. It's exactly what I do with mine. I've got a Ford F-350 that I drive around, and it's got big door pockets. And, boy, I tell you what, they're a catch-all. They get all the stuff that I don't know what to do with at the time and throw in there. And it's funny because they go, that door pocket in your vehicle? Now you know what this is for. This thing will fit in a lot of the door pockets in your trucks and your cars. And it's perfect. You put yourself together a little bitty tackle box of some sort that you can put under the seat in your glove box, put this, and then made it up with a spinning reel, and just stick it in, on the glove box off to the side and have it already spooled up with line. You can quickly put it together. If you're driving around and you see a body of water that you've always wanted to fish, or you're out driving around with the family on a Sunday afternoon and you come across a pond or something, instantly pull this thing out and you're in business. This thing is I'm not sure the exact length on this one. I'll have to take a look. I believe it is let's see here. I think it's right at like 6 foot, which is a really good size rod. It's not the big one. Like you said, they have several different sizes that range from about I think it's like 6 foot up to like 8 foot rods. And you can land some pretty big catfish and saltwater fish on the big rods. But this, for me, where I'm at, is perfect because, I fish for a lot of bass, crappie, things like that. There's a place called Black River that I love to go to every fall and every summer, and I'm getting ready to make my first trip out here pretty soon, and we always hike in. And the bad thing is all the brush is overgrown real bad, and if you've got a solid rod, one-piece rod, or even the two-piece rods, sometimes you can hang them up in the trees and bang them around and break them. It's something you have to spend extra care to. This sucker right here will fit in your backpack. Done deal. It's not sticking up. It's not sticking out. You know, it's out of the way, and it's one less thing you have to fidget with. And like when you're going up to Black River here in Arizona, and where we go and fish on that part of the river, you have to cross the river quite a few times, and it's deep. You're falling, you're stumbling. I've got videos on YouTube of us, you know, taking diggers, man, and you're fighting your equipment half the time. This is just one less thing to take out of the equation and safely get across there, and it's awesome. It's freaking cool, man. I dig it.
And if you guys are looking for that combo, I actually put the link in the description for you guys to help you guys out. But AJ actually had the Ranger rod, which is another telescoping rod that KastKing makes, and that one just looks really sleek and sharp. And they actually have the twist ends on the butt of them that you can take off, and you can clean the insides a lot easier, which a lot of companies don't do that. And I think that's just one neat, awesome feature about KastKing. That's awesome. Love it. Well, KastKing's always, they're super, they're like making up stuff every day. I mean, they're constantly coming out with new stuff. So always stay tuned, guys. There's always something coming out, and it just outbeats everything else. It's crazy. Like the new Spartacus Maximus is amazing. I'm loving it. I've been fishing with it for about a month now, and it's super awesome. Let's see what else we got. And another good thing, if you're looking for, like, I think the perfect line for that combo that AJ was holding and Jay was holding,
I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going. The new Supercast 9. The new Supercast 9 is actually really sweet. It is awesome. It's 9 strands, so it's thick, abrasive resistance, and it's actually wound backwards, and it seems to cast a lot further that way. It just smooth through the guides, and I don't know why. I guess it's some kind of scientific method, but because it's wound backwards, it casts forever. And I'm loving my Supercast 9. They only have one color right now, and it's that zombie green color, but it's a pretty sweet color.
Dude, I dig it, man. I had some guys this weekend. I went to a kind of a crawfish boil barbecue this weekend, and I had a couple buddies. You know, I took some rods because we're on some ponds, and we were playing around with them and everything. And I was letting them throw some of the KastKing stuff, and man, I had that rod set up with the Speed Demon, and it was a Pair G rod and a Speed Demon on there with that Supercast line is what I meant to say. And those guys were blown away on how easy it was casting and how far it was casting. It was cracking me up, you know, and it was neat. I mean, these guys, and they were saying too, they're like, I am not a bait caster guy. They were all spinning reel guys that had kind of played with some bait casters, and they were loving it. They were having a blast, and they were sitting there talking about, man, this reel is amazing. And I was like, it ain't just the reel. It's that line too, you know. It's crazy the differences you can feel in some of that braid. And I got to get my hands on some of that braid before it was Supercast 9 when it was still in the development stages. And I remember riding back to home base. I was like, man, this stuff is great. Like I need a couple more spools of it. I need more testing spools. You know, it was awesome. Like as soon as it hit the market, I was all over Amazon and I bought a bunch. And it was funny because we were talking about earlier about having some, and I was like, all I've got is empties, man. All my stuff is loaded with Supercast 9. It is true story. It's great stuff. I love it, man. It casts so easy. It's strong as can be. I can't say anything bad about it.
Yeah, and Magic Yacker hit the dime. That's the word I was looking for. Affordable innovation. That's pretty much their motto, KastKing's motto, and they live for that motto. That is, and they keep fishing fun because they're affordable, that you can go out with no worries, and just all you worry is to have fun while you're out fishing. And that's really what helps with kids, because a lot of kids get impatient. They need a little bit of training and guidance, and your key is just to go out there and have fun with them, and they're gonna stick to that, and they're gonna remember all the fun parts, and they're gonna love fishing when they grow up. And John Chabursky, he does some fish camps. We'll let him talk a little about what he goes over. He does from beginners to experts, and he can give you a couple good tips, and he can tell you what he kind of goes over in his fish camps. Go ahead, John.
Thanks, man. Basically, with a lot of the fish camps that I've been doing have been more oriented towards kayakers, just because I can get into the kayak shops and bring in their audience that way. But we go over, you know, a lot of the basic tips of, you know, what line to use for what situations and what lures to use and what kind of structure to look for while you're out there bass fishing or cat fishing, depending on what kind of, you know, what kind of fishing you're doing that day. And I've noticed, like we were talking about earlier, with all the kids. I mean, kids are starting to get into kayak fishing really heavily too now, which is kind of nice too. You know, the kids are going out with their parents, getting out there doing fishing, enjoying the scenery in a kayak and getting exercise too. You know, which is a really good thing. And the whole fishing aspect of getting out, trying new stuff, you know, and with KastKing being a cheaper or inexpensive rods, reels, and lines, you know, the parents don't feel as bad as if the kid tips over and, you know, loses a rod, loses a reel. You know, they're not quite as mad as if they were to go and spend, you know, $300 on a rod and reel combo, and then their kid decides to fall out of the boat and lose it. You know, you can get some, like these Rangers are perfect because you can basically just put them in the back of the kayak, and when they're paddling to wherever you want to go, they're hidden, they're out of the way. You can pull them out, expand them, fish with them, and then put them back. You don't have to worry about them hooking onto trees or, you know, the kids accidentally tagging them with their paddles.
Let's hope that nobody loses any of their gear, though. Oh, that's awful every time I see one go over to the deck. I'm about to cry.
I don't lose mine, but I probably dunk mine all the time on accident.
It happens. I mean,
yeah, I've done it. I've actually kicked a rod over. It's been about, I want to say about 8-9 years now, but I hooked into a really good bass. If you ask these guys, they say I don't ever catch fish, but one time I did, right? So
at one time,
where, and it was probably, you know, this is a typical fishing story, you know, 12 pounds. No, it was a big bass, and it was kind of a situation to where our lake had flooded and the water was up into the trees, and I was trying to get it out of the trees as fast as I can. The bass got hung up. I was trying to get the trolling motor over to it, and in the heat of the battle, I kicked a brand new, fairly expensive rod and reel combo over, and you know, it went into a bunch of trees straight down. So it's like diving in wasn't really going to work very good because you would have had a face first of all these other trees sticking up. Plus, I had my cell phone in my pocket. I had a bunch of other stuff. I mean, when it all happened so quick, there wasn't enough time to get it. And it was just like, bye. You know, it's gone. That's it. You know, and I ended up not even getting the bass either. And I was a hot dude. So, you know, to lose really expensive rods and reels is heartbreaking. But the funny thing is, you don't have to spend a ton of money to get that quality, that affordable innovation. You know, we found that there with KastKing. So, but I tell you what, I learned a lesson that day, man. I keep an eye on what I'm kicking around on the deck of the boat.
Or stepping on. I'm sure you probably step on a bunch of stuff on the deck too.
Break eyelids.
There's a reason why you keep these around sometimes. It happens, man. It happens.
Yeah, luckily with kayaking, you don't have that as much. But like I said, you do have, if you're going down, like me fishing the river all the time, or anywhere that has low-lying trees, you're trying to get up underneath the fish. You know, your rod catches a limb, and before you know it, you look back and it's hanging in the tree because it got caught on the limb. You know, and then you're trying to get it, and then it falls out in the water, and you're like, oh, well, there goes that rod sinking to the bottom.
Now, let me ask you this. Both of you guys, John, you're a kayaker. Matt, you kayak and do the
it's mainly paddleboarding. Yeah.
Paddleboard fishing. Now, more, John, do you guys use the rod sleeves? Because I know KastKing's making the rod sleeves or the rod protectors, as a lot of people know them. It's the little sleeve, the sock that goes over for people that don't know and protects the eyelets. I am sold. I think that was one of the best things when KastKing put that out. If you guys don't use them, I swear by them, that cuts down so much problems breaking the porcelain or the rod guides out of there. You know, it's a simple, very inexpensive precautionary measure. Do you guys use them on kayaks a lot?
I use mine going to and from like the river. I'll put all my rods in the rod sleeves and then put them in the back of the car. But pretty much as soon as I get to the water, I take them off because it would just be kind of a hassle to take them off and on every time you want to get a rod to fish with it. But it definitely helps for loading them and unloading them in the car or the truck. You know, it keeps the rod protected a lot. and it doesn't allow them to tangle up nearly as much when you're putting like 6 rods in the back of a car or back of a
Dude,
truck.
I actually, what sold me one time, true story, on the rod sleeves was it was back when I was fishing tournaments a few years ago. A friend of mine, Joe, could tell you. He'll know when I say his name. It was pitch black right before a tournament. We had my boat out there, and I did not have the dividers, or actually no, I just made some dividers, but it didn't have the tubes that went all the way up the front of the boat. And so of course we had all the different poles in there, and I was pulling them out. 3 rods right on the top, somehow intertwined in their back behind that divider I had made. And dude, for the life of me, I fought for like 20, 30 minutes straight before the tournament. And it was getting down to where, we were getting ready to be launching and going. And I had to cut all the line on those rods and a couple others, get them out, restring, retie. And it was just chaos. And I instantly switched to those rod sleeves, and KastKing makes them. And I have not had the problem since. I mean, that right there was an investment that paid for itself, and I learned right then and there that there's a use for it. There really is. And then, of course, replacing tips and rod guides has greatly reduced in my world from that.
Yeah, I only use them for transportation pretty much too, the same as John, because when you're on the paddleboard, it's just a lot easier just to grab your rod and go. And out west, with Chris said he's had to swim for one last week from hitting a tree. And those stories remind me of me and my wife did a fishing tournament in Louisiana for redfish. And she had one on the line, and she had her line wrapped up with my line and thought she caught a catfish. So she set her rod down and she missed the rod holder and it went in the water. And then we couldn't find her rod. She didn't know what she did with it. And all of a sudden, a redfish takes off and pulls the rod up because the line was across her lap, pulls it back up to her, and she grabs it and she fights the redfish and pulls it in. It was the craziest thing that happened. It was so funny. And we almost lost that one, but somehow by some miracle we got it back. And that reel and the rod still works fine.
Nice.
But there's tons of stuff. I'm rough on my stuff. And if KastKing can survive me, KastKing can probably survive anybody because I'm really rough on my stuff.
And it kind of goes back to like we were talking about getting kids involved and active into fishing. KastKing is an affordable, quality product, like John was saying, that we can get into the hands of the kids, and they can use gear that rivals their competitors that are double, sometimes triple for the same quality, And we've seen it, we've used it. There's quite a few products in the KastKing lineup that flat compete with some of the really, really, really expensive reels on the market. I know that the KastKing's line, by all means, competes with just about any other line out there. Their rods are exceptional. And a lot of their lines of reels, you've got them from, well, you have price points, you know what I mean? You have price points. And some of their like we're saying, the Speed Demon and the new Spartacus Maximus, the new KastKing White Max, the Royal Legend. I mean, some of those reels are just amazing. The fishability of those things and what they can do, and for the price. And so, like, if we get these into our kids' hands, we're not going out there and buying them a $300 rod, $300 reel, and getting irate if they have a mistake, if they have an accident, a boo-boo. We're still going to be upset. Mom and dad still had money go out the window. But, it's definitely something that they're going to be able to use good gear, for affordable price. And there's a lot of other precautions you can take, and KastKing's got it covered. And it's neat. We need to get – I'm glad to see that we're taking such an initiative in really exploring options and helping our children get out there. And KastKing definitely wants to, be that company and that product that helps kids get more involved, gets off PlayStation, gets off Xbox, gets off of Instagram. Or if you're going to be on Instagram, at least post pictures of you killing it with your KastKing gear with some big fish. If you're going to be on social media, do like we do. Get out there and fish and show the world what you're doing with your KastKing gear. We want to see it.
And KastKing is like, if you go to KastKing, it's like you're kind of spoiling your kids but yet not putting a dent in your wallet, because you're getting a quality reel. It's probably puts out just as good as the $300 reels, but you're paying a fraction of the price. And KastKing makes great Christmas presents. It's not too far away. Christmas in July.
Christmas in July, baby.
But
And the nicest thing too is you're not going to catch more fish on a $300 reel than you're going to catch on a $30 reel. The price isn't catching you any more fish. You can go out there with a Mickey Mouse reel and catch just as many fish as you can catch on a $600 rod and reel combo. As long as you've got that KastKing line on there, you're good to go.
True that.
And, it's funny is like you're saying, you don't have to go out there and spend $300-400 for these rods and reels to catch more fish, or that's not going to say how much fish you're going to catch. But what's cool about the affordability of KastKing is, they're packing tons of bearings, amazing drag systems on these things. They're putting all the bells and whistles that the expensive companies are bragging about. KastKing's putting them in there for a third of the price, direct to market pricing, and you're casting just as far. You're retrieving faster, 9.3 to 1. We're the fastest dudes on the market right now. You're winching them in. You've got amazing drag, like I said, carbon fiber drag. I feel like I'm just talking in circles here, because it's why spend 3 times as much? I don't see why I can put 3 times more gear in my boat, or spend less money and put fuel in my boat, and get out there and have a blast.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you don't shop KastKing, I mean, you're just pretty much throwing your money. Like I seen a meme out there with a little kid just chunking money out the window. That's pretty much what you're doing. Just throwing all that money you could be using somewhere else. I love that meme. It's one of my favorites.
KastKing wrote in the comments, it's not about the tools, it's about the technician. That is so true, man. KastKing can put some good tools in your hands, tools that are going to get the job done. It's up to you. Why, in my world, I am a technician, in the automotive industry, and I own tons of different brands of tools, from Snap-on all the way to Husky. And there's some good tools and there's some bad tools out there. Know what you have. Really take a look at what you have. Look into it. You go down to the swap meet and pick up the cheap, horrible, nasty tool. You're going to get what you pay for on certain tools. But if you actually research what you're looking at, know it, use it, you're going to find that you don't have to buy the biggest, baddest name on the market. There are tools that you have entry level, then you have the biggest, baddest, most expensive. There's tools in this area right here that will blow your mind and are every bit as good, if not better, than the tools priced way out here. And my toolbox is full of them, and they get used every day. I have a gigantic toolbox at work that about 5 other people work out of, because I'm the manager of my situation. I let a couple of my other techs use my tools as well, which I know is a no-no in the industry, but there's a rule. They put them back. But you know what? Those tools get used and abused. They're not the highest, most baddest tools made on the market, but they keep doing their job. They're not failing. And what's funny is KastKing kind of fits that exact same profile. They're affordable and they're great products, and I don't have to spend $300-400 to get one reel. $300-400 and I'm banging 4 or 5 reels in there, and I got the whole deck of my boat outfitted with some awesome tools that are gonna get the job done.
Oh yeah. We're halfway through our show, guys. I see a lot of new faces over here in the comments. If you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the KastKing YouTube channel. We have tons of videos of us catching fish, all the team members, of us teaching you how to catch more fish. So it's going to be very helpful for you to get to subscribe and get out there and catch more fish. But
what's going on, Ronnie? What's going on,
we can
Bob?
start answering some questions. We're halfway through the show, and if you want, we'll throw out some tips on some lures. Like what would you say when you're trying to get your kid out there, AJ, first time, and you really want them to catch their first bass? What lure would you throw during the summer or this time of year?
Well, there's so many different variables, but there's one thing that I need to do a video on it soon, and I put my daughter on it and I put my wife on it every time, and they usually outfish me. It's the drop shot, man. Like, the drop shot is something that's a rig. It's just a simple worm with a leader and a sinker on the bottom. You slow it down, you relax, and it's all about presentation. It's, you don't just let them drift and bounce on the bottom and put it right in that fish's face, and they can't resist. Drop shot catches fish. But my personal favorite of all time is the spinnerbait and the Senko. Those spinnerbait is a reaction bait that you can use year round. So drop shot and spinnerbait, those two for sure. And I would say probably the drop, as much as I hate to admit it, the drop shot probably will catch you more fish over time, but I just love the bite of a spinnerbait. Spinnerbait is a lot more friendly, though. They're going to have a lot less hang-ups with a spinnerbait, so they're going to be able to throw it a ton. They're going to get the flash. They're going to see the action, and when they get that strike, they're going to be literally hooked for life. So that's one reason why I like to have a kid throw a spinnerbait, because they can throw it a zillion times. They're not going to hang up as much. It's a fairly weedless rig, and they're not going to get hung up. They're not going to be fighting. They can cast it because it's got good weight to it. So that, to me, is in reality, with all things considered, now that I really think about it, spinnerbait would be something I throw a kid on that's really trying to learn, that's going to do good, other than the whole bobber worm, too. So there's so much you can do. I want to teach it all to them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about like outside the box, like not the bobber worm or typical live bait, like a lure.
That's the easiest way to do it.
Nothing more exciting than catching a fish on your first lure, because I remember my first fish, my dad would only throw the blue lizard like all year long. So when I grew up, that's all he would let me throw, because that's all he'd buy. So I grew up doing that. My wife, she loves saltwater fishing, so I had to pretty much teach her a lot about bass fishing. And I put a chatterbait, and that's pretty much, she'll never take a chatterbait off. She loves her chatterbaits. Black and blue seems like a nice go-to color, but she catches bigger fish than I do on her chatterbaits. It's incredible. If you guys haven't seen any of those videos, you go check them out, because she catches big bass.
Out west, motor oil is pretty popular. Motor oil colored worms. We catch a lot of motor oil color out here out west. John, what do you got, bro?
Oh, probably my favorite new setup has got to be the weightless wacky rig. It seems to be doing the best lately. Before that it was the craws. I used to always fish crawfish, but I fished the rivers a lot of the time, and crawfish used to always do the best. River fishing used to always be my go-to bait. Just throw a craw in there with a jig head or a shaky head. But now, since I started fishing the wacky rigs, they just been tearing them up. It's easy to fish.
The Nico rig yet?
No, I just use a weedless hook in the middle. Just hook it wacky style, and most of the time I just put like a super tiny little weight on there. Throwing it on the Stealth seems to be the best reel to throw that setup for some reason. It just casts a super light lure so good.
So yeah, Stealth is perfect for super light lures. I get questions all the time, and it's amazing because that spoil is so light that it just casts them forever.
Yeah.
But I'm laughing at the comments because my my wife put in there after I talked about the chatterbait. She put in there how to use the chatterbait, and it's pretty much what I told her. They keep reeling it while it's chatting, and if it stops, set the hook, because you either got grass or you got a fish on, and 9 times out of 10 it's a fish. It's so funny.
I throw, like, for a lot of my finesse fishing, like wacky rig, lizards, worms, and we're talking about kids. A lot of kids don't really get to, they're not to par with bait casters yet. A lot of adults aren't. We get a lot of adults, that have issues and dialing in their bait casters, and it takes practice. That's the only thing I can say is it takes practice. Don't give up. 99% of the time, don't blame the reel. It's the operator. Get some practice. Set the bucket up in your yard and practice. And that's another fun thing you can do with kids. Like I made some cornhole boards. Cornhole seems to be really fun. Everybody's playing cornhole. Dude, put a little weight on there and flip into your cornhole board, and that makes kind of a fun game for your kids and you to play. But if you're going to be rocking like you're having issues and you want to be casting like some of the wacky rigs and things like that, or lizards, the Mela, the new Mela or Mela 2 is a great casting light line spinning reel that the kids would be, it's very affordable. It's under $50-$40 on Amazon, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it is an awesome design. It's one of my favorite reels that I use, and it costs like hardly anything, and I use it all the time. Like, how can you not go wrong? But it is a very great finesse reel. I do a lot of fishing with it. It's great for somebody beginning or even somebody that's seasoned and been doing it for 20 years. It's just going to save you money, and it's going to get the job done. And it is great. And like you were saying, you love this the stealth for being able to cast with it, the castability. You know, there it is right there. John's got one rigged up. That thing, dude, that thing's money, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. You know, and it does fantastic. I've got, you know, some other, you know, reels that are twice as much as that one that I just leave in the rod locker just because that thing looks so awesome and handles so well. You know, it matches all my other schemes that I got going on the boat. It's like I feel like my wife is, you know, making her shoes match and getting the right hat on and looking good because, you know, the Mela it's designed so nice, it fits and it looks really awesome on the deck of my boat. Catches fish, it does great. Man, I love it. I love it.
It does look sexy. I like it.
Well, another nice thing they did to the Mela too is they put carbon drag washers in the Mela too, so it can handle a whole lot more abuse than it used to with the carbon drag washer. So it's going to have a smoother drag. It's going to handle the lighter line better with that carbon drag washers.
I run an average of 8 to 15 pounds. 12 is like my happy medium on the Mela and the Mela 2. I target a wide variety of fish on it. So even with 12-pound, like if you're wanting to get out there and cast some of your lines that, you know, baits that are you're looking for distance and sensitivity, 8-pound is fantastic. But even with 12-pound line on there, so you can fish structure a little more, or 15, that Mela still, the way they designed that bail, you know, the spool that allows that line to just come right off when you cast. Dude, you can throw some of your heavier lines out there and feel like you're fishing with an 8 to 10-pound test. You know, it's cool. They did it right, man. They did it right.
Yeah. Here's a good tip from WNY Fisher Girl. She likes the wacky rig a lot, but because she fishes a lot of heavy current, she has to use it on a jig head, which is perfectly fine. If you're fishing a heavy current or you're in heavy winds, throw a little bit more weight on there to get it out there where you're trying to get to.
You know, I've never thought about a jig head. I've seen a couple different variations where people will actually put a weight, like they'll do an O-ring, or they'll even make like a drop shot, similar wacky rig variation. So a jig head's, you know, same concept. Yeah, there's really, you'll get some, you know, there's always haters, but you'll get people like, no, that's the wrong way to do it. But dude, if you're catching fish with it and you can do it in the current, there's no wrong way to do it. Always learn from other people. That's one big tip I can say out there. Definitely. Thank you, Fisher Girl. And Fisher Girl, thanks you, man.
It's a good tip, though. I love good tips because I'm always constantly trying different ways. When I go out and fish for the lure, even though it's not even the season for that lure, I will fish it so many different ways just to see if I can get a fish bite it because I feel like I learned something.
Fisher Girl, do me a favor. Please, I'm begging you. Take a picture of your wacky rig setup and post it on our Instagram or on our Facebook page and let us see exactly how you rig it. I'd really like to see your presentation on it. It'd be cool.
Yeah, that's a good tip too. The only wrong way to fish is not fishing.
Yeah, the traveling fisherman knows what's up.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, if you ask them, how do you catch more fish? And they say because they keep their line wet. They always keep their lure in the water. So
yeah, the more casts you can make, the more water you can cover, the better your odds are, you know?
Yeah. And I love all the conversations we're having. It's awesome over here in the comment sections. People are telling them what reels their favorite and what reels, you know, are good. Some people are asking. It's perfect. What is your either spinning or bait casting? What's your guys' favorite reel? We'll go ahead and go with John since he's already holding it up.
No, this is actually the new White Max, and I've been using it probably 2 months now, and this reel is so smooth. I've been using it for throwing crawfish and worms, but I think I'm going to actually switch up and use it for small square bill crankbaits, because a lot of people have been talking about the slow retrieve, being that it's a 5.3 to 1, that it would work better for small crankbaits like the square bill, so it would give it a lot better action. So I'm gonna have to give that a try and see how it does.
You know, it's crazy to see all, like you said, the slow retrieve. You know, there's demand for a high retrieve in the bait casters. There's demand for the slow retrieve in the bait casters. And we had a gentleman on, his name was Marco, I believe, in the comments a few minutes ago, wanting to see us make the Kodiak. He was wondering if we were ever going to make the Kodiak in a faster retrieve. 5.2 to 1, I believe, is kind of like the standard in spinning reels. But you know what? That would be something neat to see. Getting into a little higher retrieve on the spinning reels, maybe. I'm not saying it's going to happen, guys. I'm not saying, but KastKing is one of those companies that loves to listen to, to their customers and to the people. And I always say, if you build it, they will come. You never know. I mean, KastKing, they're here. They're listening right now. If you got things that you want to see, leave it in the comments. Go to KastKing's Facebook page and put a comment. Hey, this is something I would like to see, or this is something I would think would be awesome. I mean, there's for every 100 bad ideas, there's at least 2 or 3 amazing ideas, that are going to work for everybody. And you never know, your idea might be something that we look at and say, hey, this guy right here or this girl right here, she's got something. That's that next thing we can do to make our product better, and we're going to bring it to you at an affordable rate too.
What's your favorite, AJ?
My favorite reel?
Mm-hmm. Spinning or bait casting?
Spinning or bait casting? The spinning right now, I have a tie. I love the Kodiak. The thing is just, it's like dressing up, suit and tie, and you're just all eyes on you. The thing is beautiful, but it's not only there for looks. Man, it performs. I mean, it is stellar. This is a gorgeous, exquisite reel that performs. But then the Mela 2, like we were talking about earlier, the thing is very affordable. It's on the other end, on the way more affordable side of the spectrum, but it flat performs, dude. It performs, and it's cool. It's almost, everybody's doing the whole blacked out things. Like I said, I work in the automotive industry, and so everybody's like blacking out their headlights, they're blacking out their wheels, they're blacking out their windows, they're buying all this stuff. Well, that fits that theme too. So you've got that dark profile that everybody's eating up right now, and it works, and it's affordable. You're not going to break the bank. So I like the Mela 2 and the Kodiak for spinning reels. And then, of course, the new for bait casting. God, I'm so torn on the Spartacus Maximus. That thing's just a beast in a tank. I have bear mitts, man. I have got gigantic hands. They are huge. And the Spartacus Maximus, I like as a low-profile reel, but the beefiness, which it's not that much bigger than the low-profile reels, but it still has a little bit more beefiness to it. I love the way it feels. It fits in my hands great. It's just an awesome reel. But then the Speed Demon, dude, this thing is awesome. It's no secret I love the Speed Demon. I keep posting videos about it, YouTube, Facebook. I love them both. So those two, the Speed Demon and the Spartacus Maximus, are my favorite bait casters. And then, of course, the Mela 2 and the Kodiak. Those are my spinning reels of choice right now. Yes, Jessica nailed it. Murdered out. That's the quote I was looking for. The Mela 2 is murdered out. So.
I say my favorites. It's almost like you. It's like a mix. I say spinning wise, just for my wife and for me, it's got to be the Kodiak. I actually bought one for me and one for her because she wouldn't give me mine back, so I had to buy another one for myself. But it's super smooth, and it's perfect for saltwater too. And we do a lot of saltwater fishing around here, and it's our go-to. We just grab it, change the lure, go saltwater fishing or freshwater fishing, and we just bounce back and forth. But I've been fishing with the Spartacus Maximus for a month now, like nothing but that reel. And I have to say, like, KastKing has spoiled us in the past with super light reels because the Maximus is not too heavy, but it's a little bit heavier, so you will feel it if you fish with it all day long. So I guess all those super light reels like the Stealth, I lost my wrist muscle, so it took me a couple days, but after a month, I love it. It is amazing. I'm used to it. My wrist muscles are back. It's amazing. Like you can beat this thing up. It takes
There's no need for CrossFit.
Yeah. No need for CrossFit. No, it's not that heavy though, guys. It's just
No,
a
it's
few
not heavy.
ounces. Yeah, it's just a few ounces heavier than I think the Speed Demon, but it's beast. It's awesome. It's so big. The spool is so much. I literally ran about 150 yard spool of braid and like another 100 yards of of floor coat on it as a leader, and it's I don't
You know,
know.
it's funny is because people will be like, well, it's a little heavier, it's a little heavier. Be like, coming from the person that has the iPhone 19, it's like this big. It's like they got an iPad in their ear. Like, oh, it's so heavy. But they got the biggest. It's not that heavy. It's not
They're like
heavy.
on their phone with their friend with a giant iPhone saying
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Two people can make a phone call from the same phone, same time.
But but I love it. It's my favorite. It is a little higher on the spectrum for prices, but I'm telling you, it's a small investment and you can't go wrong. Dude, it's awesome. It's like my go-to now. My wife can have both Kodiaks for saltwater fishing, and I'm going to take that one because it's just amazing. I fished all night with it. I almost thought I was going to lose it falling over the boat the other night, but it was but it takes a beating. I dropped it a few times, still looks good. It's fishing awesome.
Well, just for a little thing of durability, I mean, Kevin's been using his Stealth and what was the other one? He was using Spartacus for catfish and flatheads and big catfish out there where he's at. You know, he's catching 20-pound flatheads on, you know, an Assassin, which is a bait cat or, you know, a bass fishing reel and a Stealth. So that tells you how strong those things are.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example. I had someone who asked earlier if a stealth's good for muskie fishing. I mean, if he's catching 20-pound catfish, I'm
Yeah.
sure you can catch some muskie with the stealth. And the only way to find out is get one and go try it out. Make a video.
He's catching them on the Assassin, John?
Oh, the Stealth and
On
the Spartacus. Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, that right there goes to show you.
Yeah, if Kevin gets the Maximus, he's probably not going to fish with any other reel because that one's you're literally going to reel a big old 20-pound cat in like it's butter. It's like with 25-pound drag, it's just insane.
I caught it was about a 10-pound catfish the other day on my it was top water in like a foot and a half of water, about a 10-pound cat on the Mellow 2 the other day. And I thought I had the bass of a lifetime, dude. I was just like, get out of here. My son, he wants to be a part of the live show, not just fishing. He wants to be a part of the live show. I don't know if you see his hand come in, but anyhow, no. But it was pretty impressive, you know, how great, you know, that reel did. And I can only imagine catching on the Stealth 20-pound cat. Good Lord, I bet that was an amazing fight.
I'm waiting to catch a big bull red so I can really feel that 25-pound drag getting pulled. Only thing I've caught biggest is a 4-pound bass, but it's doing good though.
I always use spinning rope, and now I'm hooked on bait casters. That was MTB Travel 72.
That's how I used to be. I used to never use bait casters until I got the I don't know which one I got. I think I got the Royal Legend, and that thing didn't backlash at all. So I ended up switching over to bait casters, and that's pretty much all I use now is bait casters. I got a couple spinning reels left, but you know, I have every single KastKing bait caster that I have out, and you know, they're all set up for something different. You know, the drag's easy to adjust. The spool tension is super easy to adjust. And I mean, if you want to get a bait caster for the first bait caster, the Assassin I think is really the best one to get, or the Spartacus, because they both have that centrifugal clutch brake inside for the spool, and that really helps for the beginners because it allows those clutches to go outward when you first cast, which slows the spool down. It helps prevent bird nests.
Yeah, Traveling Fisherman asked, he's might move back to Florida. What bait caster should he get? Really depends on what we're at in Florida. If you're over in like Okeechobee, I would definitely I would buy the Maximus. If you're over where I'm at, where it's not like crazy 20-pound bass and a whole bunch of grass or something, you can you can cut it down. I love the Speed Demon. That's going to be my second one I have to go to because the 9:3:1 gear ratio, you can slow down to, and just literally it's like you have to be a patient person because you really got to slow that reel down on the Speed Demon because it's super fast. But it's probably my second go-to for bass over here. I love it. And like John said, the Spartacus or Assassin is always a great if you're looking for like a lower price KastKing reel. Those are on the lower end, and those performed excellent also on the bass. But I would say Spartacus Maximus for the giant bass or big fish, and then the Speed Demon definitely. Sarasota, yeah, I would probably go Maximus because you can easily hop over to saltwater too over there and use the same reel.
Hey guys, if you haven't already, but click the like button on the page. Make sure you're clicking the like button. We love the comments in there, and of course, we would love it if you guys shared it. If you haven't already subscribed to KastKing's YouTube page, please, now's the time. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Share it. Help us out. Help grow this KastKing community. You know, let's have a KastKing nation out there. That's really what we are.
And hey, we actually have a YouTube giveaway right now. If whenever it hits 200 likes on that video, it's a stealth. Shane did a video, and so I would be hitting that subscribe button and hitting that like button on that video.
Do we have a link to that video that we can?
I can find it and I can put it in the description as soon as we're finished here. We can put it up in the description.
So we're gonna be hooking you guys up. We're gonna find the link. We're gonna put it in there. Shane is another team member that we've got on our deal. He fishes with a stealth like a beast, man, and he's giving his stealth away.
KastKing's giving his stealth away. He did the video.
KastKing stealth away for that. Awesome. So yes, definitely, we'll get the link up there here in a few minutes, guys. 200 likes is really not hard to achieve, guys. Let's get up there. Let's get the likes up there and jump on that action. Another thing, KastKing and myself are giving a reel away. I'm giving away the Spartacus through Pond Hopper Nation. So if you haven't gone to Pond Hopper Nation's YouTube or Facebook page, go over there, find my video, and you've got to like KastKing's YouTube page. You got to like mine as well as Pond Hopper Nation's. Leave a comment, and you can get yourself one of the best reels that KastKing has put out, the Spartacus. So that's another giveaway. That giveaway takes place on May 23rd, so there's still time to get on that. We're giving away some killer KastKing reels, guys.
If you want to get on even more, I'm doing a reel giveaway on mine with 2,000 subscribers. I'm a little ways away from it, but it's going to be a great deal. I'm literally going to pick probably one of my favorite reels from KastKing, and you guys get to pick left-handed or right-handed. But
dude, we're just giving KastKing reels away, guys. You just can't miss out. And it's not hard work.
It's not. We have tons of giveaways, so just keep in touch, guys. I'm going to put some of those giveaways. I'm going to put all the links in the description of this video when it's done. I'll put AJ's, mine, and I'm going to put KastKing's. So you guys don't miss out. It's the easiest way. If you're skeptical about KastKing, you enter all the giveaways because you get a free reel, and then you're going to love it, and then you're probably going to go back and buy like a ton more because you're going to love KastKing reels.
All you got to do is take your mouse, cruise on over to these pages, click the like button, make a comment, subscribe. It's a done deal.
AJ's got some props.
That's my automotive, my race car mouse. Has safe fuel on it. It's a Prius. No, it's not really Prius.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure we'll get another giveaway soon coming up on the live chat. So stay tuned, guys. Keep tuning in.
Wow, we've already cruised through an hour almost.
Yeah, like once we got the story time.
Story time. Stories are a good thing.
They are.
We have a past winner in our comment section here. Tell you guys that we're not just blowing smoke, man. There's real winners out there. We got a lottery winner here. Top Notch Fishing says he won the Kodiak at Christmas time from Matt's channel. Matt, you hooked him up, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
It was actually for I think he won it from the KastKing Live show, the Christmas show. If I can remember.
That's awesome because that speaks about how much he got it. He got a Kodiak in his hands, and now he is KastKing for life. The guy is hooked.
Yep, and Father's Day is coming up, so keep an eye on the Facebook and Instagram. just keep an eye out, guys. Make sure you like and follow over there because might be doing a giveaway over there too. So
tell you, if you haven't got your mom something for Mother's Day, there's still time. Moms like KastKing gear.
Yep. And what's convenient is we did a giveaway for Mother's Day, and a mom won, or a woman won. I don't know if she's a mom, but it was convenient that she won.
That's good. It's good.
But all right, we got any other tips or any other questions, guys, before we sign off? How do you become a KastKing ambassador? That's a great question. All you need to do is send your fishing resume over to service@eposeidon.com. I will put that email right here.
Actually, if Paul Lopes is watching, Paul, take a look at this guy. Let's see here. Let's see what we can do. There's what Master Casters, do you own any KastKing gear? It's quiet. I'm all quiet as if I'm going to hear an answer.
I don't know if I should. I'm going to get Top Notch has a question. How about new rods from KastKing? They are in testing right now, so just keep an eye out and just. I know it's like it's so hard to just keep waiting because but they're in testing right now, and they're really going to make sure they're perfect before they send them out. So just it's going to be a little bit, but
all I can say,
they're coming soon.
Earlier, hang in there.
Yeah.
See the smile?
I'm pretty sure it'll be worth it. It should be worth the wait.
Hang in there. I would love to do that. You know what, guys? And it's funny because we've got a lot of people saying, how do I become a KastKing ambassador? I would love to be an ambassador. We want you guys to be KastKing ambassadors. We would love to have a lot more help on getting the world to know just how great of a product it is and how much of a family we are. And that's what it is. KastKing truly, creates a family-like environment. So, guys, definitely look into it. KastKing put it up there, service@eposeidon.com. Just keep the traffic going. Especially if you are a KastKing user, owner, that right there speaks loudly. Get out there, take pictures of yourself using your KastKing gear. What is the new Facebook page? It's KastKing USA, right?
It should be, but I mean, just keep tagging us. Tag us, KastKing on Facebook. Tag us at KastKing USA on Instagram. Tag us in all your photos. Hashtag us, tag us in your videos. Just be sure to post it so KastKing sees them. KastKing loves it, and they love to share your guys' stuff. So be sure to post away, guys.
KastKing's always looking for new talent. We're looking for great people. Like I was saying, there is a new Facebook page called KastKing USA. Of course, same thing like you'll find on Instagram. If you're already using KastKing gear, you're already a huge fan of it, jump on that KastKing USA page. Show us what you're doing. Show us how you're doing it and what rods, reels, and line you're using of KastKings. And I tell you what, after a while, you just might get a phone call or an email, from KastKing saying, hey, and we think you got what it takes, and we want to bring you on board. So definitely, and even if that's not, you don't get in that avenue quickly, dude, that KastKing USA page is going to be awesome. So you can see about new products, see what other people are catching them on. Like we said, you might learn about new rigs, new tactics, new things like that. That new KastKing USA Facebook page is something to jump on, become part of the family, and see what everybody else is doing. And we want to hear from you. And like we said, you might just get hooked up and become a KastKing brand ambassador.
Well, and another thing to think about too, since AJ just did the whole spiel there, is just getting on a brand ambassador team isn't just about getting free stuff. There is a lot of work to do when you get on the ambassadors team. It's not like you just get on there and you get free stuff and this, that, and the other. You got to do a lot of work, put in the time. It's a family, and we all work together to try to help each other improve and do better videos and make ourselves better fishermen. So if you like doing a lot of work and having a good time talking to people, it wouldn't be a bad thing to join.
We're looking for diehard.
Yeah, it's a huge competition. It's pretty hard to get on the ambassador. Well, I mean, I can't say it's hard, but you gotta it's competitive to be on the ambassador program, and there's always ways to move up. But even if you can't make the ambassador program, just like Top Notch says, just enjoy fishing with your KastKing products. And like if you support the brand, post the hashtags, everything. We love to support our supporters, so we'll definitely put your photos out there and share them too. And so you're also getting a little recognition there. So just be sure to tag us in all your guys' stuff.
And we're always running promotions. Like, it happens all the time throughout the year. We want to see what you're doing. Post X amount of pictures, and you'll be picked at random, or the best picture, and you could get some killer KastKing swag. So always be a part of those pages and those forums and those groups, and so you can be up to par with what's happening and not miss out on a chance to get even more KastKing gear in your hands.
Definitely. And guys, that's going to be the end of the show tonight. Be sure to tune in next month, and I think we're going to go over a little bit more of the history of KastKing. If you guys missed that during Christmas, it's a great story, and we're going to talk about some more products and fishing. So be sure to tune in. Don't miss out, and we'll see you guys
Matt,
next time. Yes, sir.
Didn't you say you purchased some oceanfront property?
In Arizona.
Arizona.
So wait for that video to come out soon. But we are going to sign off, guys. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, John, for joining us tonight. And thanks all the guests for watching and joining and participating in the comments. Thank you, guys.
Always glad. Thank you,
Love
guys.
it. And don't forget to check the description after we post it up. Y'all have a good night. See you next time.